you guys, it's Amanda with Healthy House on the Block, here with another Healthy House tip to create an indoor environment that supports your immune system and your overall health and wellness. This week we're going to talk about your laundry room. I think so often our laundry rooms kind of miss the mark when we're talking about a healthy house. I think a lot of times we really focus on the products, and unfortunately we don't always focus on the actual environment of the laundry room, which is just as important because it does affect the toxins in our air and the toxins in the rest of our home. So I'm going to take you through this week's blog post slide by slide, and we're going to talk about our healthy habits around our laundry area. We're going to talk about some preventative maintenance, and then we are going to talk about products because although products are not the sole problem in our laundry rooms, it's a large part just because our clothing sits on our skin, and a lot of times the products that we use end up embedded in the fibers of our clothing. So we want to be really careful because our skin absorbs really anything that is in contact with it. And so it's really important to pay attention to the products in the laundry room that we're putting on our fabrics, on our towels, on our sheets, especially if you have kids. So we will go through products. I'm going to take you through detergents, fabric softeners, stain treaters, ways to whiten your clothing without bleach or without chlorine bleach and without other chemicals. And then I'm going to also share with you some alternatives to dryer sheets, which usually have a lot of toxins in them. So let's get going on these slides.
All right, you guys, so let's take a look at the laundry room. I think families in general create a lot of laundry. I know that we do laundry every day, whether it's like my 6-year-old did a painting project at school, or my 9-year-old needs a different outfit that she already wore for the 3rd time this week. We create a lot of laundry, and that doesn't even include my 7-month-old, and then the clothes my husband and I create, between work clothes, exercise clothes, everyday outfits, towels, sheets. It kind of is like a never-ending thing. But laundry is actually one of the ways that we can kind of help create a healthy house. The laundry room is an environment that is hot and humid, and then we have a lot of chemicals that get introduced into our laundry room. So today we're going to go through all of those. So let's look at why the laundry room matters. The reason I like to kind of get a firm hold on laundry habits and laundry room health with my clients is because our clothing sits on our skin all day long. So that means any chemicals that we're using from detergents and softeners are ending up embedded in the fibers of our clothing. And then our skin absorbs anything that comes in contact with it. And this includes the residue from detergents and softeners that we use. Due to like the long lengths of time that we're exposing our skin to potential toxins in our laundry care products, it's really important. So, we're clothed 98% of the day, And as an advocate for clean and healthy spaces indoors, I think a lot of times we kind of miss the mark on the laundry room by just focusing on the product swaps. So I'm going to help you today to move past that and look even farther into how we can clean up our laundry space. There's some really simple and easy habits you can implement at home just to clean up your laundry room space. And it definitely goes beyond just like detergents and softeners. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. So let's go back and we'll take a look at some of the healthy habits when we're talking about the laundry room. So humidity is going to be a really big concern. The simple chore of doing laundry, especially like if you're like me and you're doing a load almost every day, it increases the humidity level in your laundry room by quite a bit. The heat and the water from simply like washing your clothes evaporates into the air, and it's causing the relative humidity in the room to rise. I did a whole post and video on humidity that you can find linked in this week's blog post if you need it. Your dryer is also going to increase the humidity level in the room as it pulls moisture out of the clothing and exhausts it through the dryer vent. if you're even thinking like, well, I'll just line dry my clothes inside, that actually is not going to reduce the problem either. Line drying clothing is actually worse for the indoor humidity and will add more moisture to your air over time than drying the clothes in a dryer or outside. So if you remember from previous posts, the more humid and warm an environment, the more toxins and VOCs off gas into the air. And the laundry room is kind of a prime area for this warm indoor air. So let's think about like, how can we prevent adding moisture into the laundry room or your laundry closet? If you don't have to dry your clothes inside, I would say try not to. If you can dry them outside, that's going to be a really great change, whether it's line drying outside or just, partially line drying outside. Otherwise, there's some other things you can do. I would say open windows. If you have one in your laundry area, crack it open while you're running your washer and dryer. If your laundry room area has a vented fan, kind of similar to the one that you would see in like a bathroom, go ahead and run it while you're doing laundry, and then for about 20 minutes after you're finished to eliminate any additional moisture problems. Another idea is just to leave the doors to your laundry room or closet open while doing laundry to allow the moisture to kind of escape. And if you feel like the air is just super humid, you can also add a dehumidifier. Remember that the ideal humidity level, like the relative humidity in your space, should be between 35 and 45%. I have a link in the blog post this week. You can grab a simple hygrometer to measure your indoor air for moisture and kind of get an idea if it's on the high side or not. All right, so let's move on and let's talk about some preventative maintenance. This is a thing that we also kind of miss the mark on a lot of times. A laundry area can quickly become a nightmare if pipes leak or dryer vents are blocked. So taking extra precautions to make sure that your laundry area is free from these issues is going to ensure that a catastrophe doesn't strike and in turn add toxins to your space. With moisture, we worry about mold. And then there's a couple other things like potential fire hazards that we'll talk about. So first, if your laundry room is above a finished space, even if it is in an unfinished space, we want to make sure that it has a disaster pan below it. So this is just usually like a basin that the washing machine sits in, but the basin is also attached to a drain that's built in, and it allows any water that leaks from the washing machine to be carried away to a drain rather than spilling out onto the floor and potentially the room below. Second, if you check your washing machine, you want to make sure that you have the stainless steel braided supply hoses in the back. Older machines might have like rubber hoses, which are likely to leak and burst. So changing over to a braided hose will definitely help prevent future leaks. And then you'll also want to check your dryer vents. So go outside and make sure that there's nothing blocking the vent. Sometimes foliage gets in the way. Sometimes animals can interfere with this as well. Sometimes it can just be blocked by lint. So it's a good idea to have that dryer vent cleaned every 1 to 2 years. You can do it yourself or hire a professional. Just always cleaning lint away from the interior and the exterior is going to be key for eliminating that fire risk. And then finally, check behind your dryer. So if your dryer has a lot of excess lint behind it, you might want to make sure that your dryer vent has not become unattached from your dryer, because that's another fire risk that we want to avoid. So let's take a look at, this is the big part, right? Assessing your products. So here's a major part of keeping your laundry room healthy, and it's the products that we use, because there's so many of them. So not only do laundry products contain like a slew of toxins, but more importantly, as consumers, we're not informed about these toxins. A lot of bottles will be labeled like free and clear, green, natural, eco-friendly, and a lot of us have been tricked into thinking these are healthy alternatives for our clothes. So these terms aren't regulated at all, and they infer that the product is toxin-free and natural, which in most cases it isn't. So how are we going to confidently choose products for our laundry? I think the solution is coming up. The solution coming up that I'm going to share with you will help you assess and then ditch and then switch with confidence. So let's take a look. First, I want you to head over to either ewg.org or you can download the Think Dirty app and run your current laundry products through whatever database you choose. They are slightly different, but they both have quite a few products in them. If you get a top rating, keep it up. Keep the product. If not, you can consider switching to a less toxic product. So then the second part is you use the same database to hunt down affordable and easy to pick up or order alternatives. And I think that's key. If you can, if you're someone who orders off Amazon or Target or Thrive Marketplace, then try to find something that way. Make it easy for yourself to get a healthy replacement. You don't want to be trying to find products, that are going to take a week to get there, or you can't get at your local store if that's how you get things. And then third, if you really can't find anything, go ahead and make your own product. I've got tons of recipes on my blog. I'm going to actually share with you some DIY fabric softener and stain treatment recipes you can try. So that's another option as well. Now let's talk about the actual product swap. So we are going to go through everything, you guys. So let's start with laundry detergent. It's more than just soap now. We used to use just soap because we would actually, back in the old days, they would actually scrub their laundry. Well, we don't do that anymore. And so because of that, there are different ingredients that are needed between bleaching agents, preservatives, things that help that scrubbing agent that are added to laundry detergent. So a study done in 2008 by a University of Washington professor revealed that there are hundreds of VOCs present in scented laundry products that end up in the air in our home. The VOCs cause damage to the liver and kidneys, as well as disrupt hormone production in otherwise healthy individuals. I have that study linked in this week's blog post if you'd like it. Laundry detergent also has elements of chlorine bleach in order to kind of clean the clothes more. And we know that chlorine is harmful to the nervous system and irritates airways. And then on top of all this, to cover up the smells of the VOCs and the bleach, laundry detergents also usually have synthetic fragrances that are added. These chemicals are harmful to our respiratory and nervous systems, as well as disrupt the hormone production in our bodies. So I would, try to avoid anything scented. Anything that says that it's unscented is a great option. I shared with you drops. They have an unscented version and Puracy. These you can both get on Amazon. They're very cost effective and they're great laundry products. So let's move on to fabric softeners. Fabric softeners was one of the first things that I got rid of when it came to cleaning up my cleaning products. Softeners contain a special group of toxins to help the fabric softener stick to your clothing fibers. And this is what creates that softer feeling in clothes. So for one, there's an acetate that is added. This has been linked to pancreatic cancer. There's also ethanol and chloroform, which are both harmful to the nervous system. And then again, fragrances can be added. They've been linked to cancer, disruption in body hormone production. And that's just some of the things that are in fabric softeners. I have all of the studies that I mentioned here linked in the blog post, but I'm also sharing with you, sharing with you two of my top picks. I would say Attitude and Seventh Generation. I've used both. I like both. You can also do an alternative DIY fabric softener, which there's a couple options. You could try adding vinegar with essential oils. I've done this before. It doesn't smell like vinegar when you're done, I promise. But you can do that to just add it to your load like you would fabric softener. You can add a 1/4 cup of ice cream or rock salt to the washing machine with your clothing to kind of give it another level of softness. And then you can also try adding baking soda to remove any product buildup and then do a wash. So a lot of times towels especially kind of have a product buildup on them, and by washing them in baking soda, you can also try a washing soda. You can remove the buildup on those products. So let's head back now and take a look at dryer sheets. Very similar to fabric softeners. They're going to have kind of the same types of chemicals, synthetic fragrances. Again, we know that that is harmful to our bodies. Some alternatives that you can try. I use organic wool dryer balls. You can add a couple drops of essential oils to give it a fresh scent. You can add a safety pin if you're having problems with static cling. Another option would be to like cut up an old t-shirt and put it in a solution of vinegar and like lavender essential oil or any essential oil, and then you just add them to your dryer with your damp clothes. Keep the jar on your dryer and refill them every few washes, but that's a great option if we're trying to ditch fabric softeners or dryer sheets, excuse me. These are a couple great options for dryer sheets. The Grab Green you can get off Amazon, 7th generation you can get at Target or off Amazon. And then let's take a look at some whiteners. So bleach is a no-no, but you can get non-chlorine bleach, which I'm sharing with you today. So we don't want to have bleach with chlorine in our homes. It contributes to indoor VOC exposure, and it can contribute to poor indoor air quality and negatively affect like your eyes, throat, lungs, especially like in kids. So we really want to keep it off our clothes where it kind of gets embedded, and we want to keep it out of our homes. I have a couple links to studies about bleach in this week's blog post. So some other options for keeping your whites white would be you can add a half cup of either baking soda or vinegar or hydrogen peroxide to your wash. You can try softening your home's water. That's usually a really big culprit to gray and dingy whites. You could soak your whites in a solution of like hot water and washing soda as kind of like a pre-wash. And then I actually use Mrs. Stewart's bluing, it's liquid bluing. You mix it with water, and it's not something that removes stains, but it keeps whites whiter. All right, and then finally, let's take a look at some stain treaters, stain removers, whatever you want to call it. So these also usually have bleach compounds, fragrance additives, scrubbing agents that are all harmful to our bodies that get stuck in our clothing and then sit on our skin. So I usually have a bottle mixed up of like a stain remover. You can do 1 part Castile soap, 2 parts hydrogen peroxide, and then a few drops of essential oil. Lemon usually works really well. But if that didn't work for you, you could also pick up a pre-made one. I really like 7th generation. You can pick that up at Target. If you want to order it off Amazon, or Thrive is a great place to get Molly's Suds. That's another really good one. And I do have every product that I mentioned linked in this week's blog post, as well as all of the studies that I mentioned. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment either here or on the blog.
Okay, so I hope you were able to take away just even a few changes that you could make to your own laundry area, whether it's some of those basically free habits that you can form in your laundry routine, or if it's swapping out one of your products or making your own. I encourage you to really plan out your next purchases when it comes to getting a detergent or a fabric softener for your laundry, because even just knowing ahead of time what's safe to buy instead of just picking something at the store can mean bringing in way fewer toxins to your house. So I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions at all, you can always leave me a comment. You can send me an email. I hope you subscribe to my channel, because every week we have a new Healthy House tip that covers some area of your home or a product that you guys have lots of questions about. And I love researching and sharing these things with you. Any of the studies that I mentioned in this week's video are linked in my blog post, so you can just head to the description and click the link to the blog post and get any of the studies or products that I mentioned. I'll be back next week, you guys, with another Healthy House tip. Until then, be well.